Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about my Beretta CX4 Storm rifle. Okay, this is a 9mm rifle. Um, Overall, it's a very good gun. I bought this about 5 years ago. My situation was basically I wanted something in between a 22 and an AR-15. Okay, and this is very useful for training. Basically teenagers and women. And it's a step up from the 22, so basically I'm gonna go straight from 22 to AR-15 and .223 caliber. Okay, so I'll go 22, 9mm, then AR. So it's a really good step up gun. In some cases where I think people are a little bit more nervous, they're not sure if they're ready to take that big step. You kind of you have to think about other people's perspective. They see that black scary gun sometimes, and sometimes you gotta get their feet a little bit more wet before you throw them into that. But that's that situation. That's why I bought this gun, and it's been working really good. At the time, I really didn't have too many choices. Basically, it was either a High Point or a Kel-Tec, and I did actually have a High Point in 9mm, and I did have problems with the magazines bending. The gun worked fine. But what happened is the magazine feed lifts would bend, in and out, and it would cause nose ups and nose downs, and basically it was just too unreliable because of those feeding problems. So I got rid of the High Point. I've had a couple of other Kel-Tecs, which I've gotten rid of. With the Kel-Tecs, I've had other problems. I've either had firing pins that would break, or I've had triggers that would basically become disconnected and not work. So basically, I didn't want the Kel-Tec headache. So basically I said, hey, Beretta, it's a pretty good name brand. Let's give it a shot. And I've been pretty happy. It works very good. Never had any problems with it. Okay. One of the not the bad things, but basically the limitations of this gun is you really can't modify it. This is the stock that it comes with. Okay, it's got this weird thing over here, this futuristic space thing over here. This can be an issue if you're trying to basically put a sandbag in the back to steady the gun for a long range, distance shot. That can kind of get in the way. Okay, it really doesn't give you any benefits. It's not like New York or California will look at this and say, hey, the gun's a-okay with us. It's not. In most states you can't have this gun anyway. So there's no real benefit to this. It doesn't bother me that much, but there's no real benefit to this thing over here. One of the things with this, it has the ghost ring in the back. Okay, it has the distance and short range, long range. There's no real windage adjustment, and for that reason, the rear sight is slightly off. So my windage with the iron sights is slightly off on this gun, and there's really no easy way to adjust it. Okay, the front post is adjustable for elevation. Okay, but basically, I use this gun primarily with a red dot, and it works great with a red dot. You've got the long rail over here, okay? And what I'll do is I'll just use the iron sights to, confirm that my red dot is zeroed in, okay? And then usually I'll just flip them down, get them out of the way, flip that down, okay? And that's generally how I train people with this gun, okay? I just use the red dot. On this gun, I have a light over here mounted. Now, one of the things with the light, if you mount the light further back, you're gonna have problems because you do have a reciprocating charging handle, so every time you fire the gun, this is going back and forth. And if you move the light further back and you have your hand back here, that's going to hit your hand. Okay, so that's bad. So you got to have the light further up so the two don't interfere with each other. Okay, so that's one of the issues with having a left side charging handle, and then having your light on the left side. You got to push it all the way up, so that you don't get your hand hit with the charging handle. Okay. Another issue is the magazines. The magazines that come with the gun work great. The gun came with a 17-round magazine, and then Beretta you can also buy 20-round magazines. I have a whole bunch of them in 17 and 20, and there's no issues with those. Those work great. I did get the aftermarket Pro Mag magazines, the 30-rounders. Now here's the thing, Beretta has made a couple of different versions of this gun, so not all magazines will fit the gun. Okay, basically if you're ordering them from Beretta, what you want to do is give them the serial number so you make sure that they match up the magazines that you're ordering with the gun. As far as the Pro Mags, these magazines that I brought here, okay, as you can see, if you look at the little holes over here, those holes on the bottom are the original holes, okay, and these are the holes that I had to cut, okay, in order to make the magazine work. Okay, so I had to Dremel out the top holes. Basically, the bottom holes don't do anything on this particular gun. Okay, so basically, these magazines originally did not fit the gun, but because of those modifications that I made, and they were pretty easy, just took out the springs on the inside, and then matched it up to the original magazine. And I was able to make the cuts, and it sits in there pretty good. There's a little bit of a wiggle in there. Okay, a little bit of a wiggle, and if you wiggle it enough, it can actually come out. Basically, this is not something I would really trust too much. You know, it's okay for, you know, farting around a little bit on the range, but it's not the magazine that's supposed to be there. Okay, this is basically a modification that is questionable as far as its reliability. But the original ones, the Beretta ones, work like a charm. You know, they work very good, and the gun shoots really well. Very accurate gun. Remember, this is basically a glorified pistol. Okay, you're shooting 9mm rounds. With pistols, you're usually shooting at about 30 yards. You know, at 30 yards with this gun, you'll hit the target more or less each time. And this is the longer one. And it's got a basically there's a release lever here, so you can basically let your charging handle loose from there. Put your mag in, push that, and basically without chambering around. So as you can see, it's a very, very accurate gun when you're shooting pistol distances, which is basically what 9mm is. You can take this out to about 75 yards, which is really hard to, you know, hit targets with a pistol, unless, you know, but basically you can hit a man-sized target very easy with this gun, you know, with a red dot at about 75 yards. So you know, I got basically nothing but good things to say about this gun. You know, a couple of, you know, not negatives, but basically drawbacks. The gun really can't be modified. You can't change the stock or anything. You know, left side charging handle, you gotta be careful where you put your light. Rear sight, not adjustable for windage. You know, the trigger on this gun is basically a pistol trigger. You know, it's not like a, you know, a rifle where you have like a, you know, like a precision rifle where you have like a 3-pound trigger. You know, there's a little bit of take up. It actually feels, you know, like a pistol when you squeeze the trigger. So, you know, that's something you got to get used to. One of the things to be aware of is the sights on this gun are pretty low profile. So, as far as the red dot, basically you need the low profile red dot. You know, there's no risers or anything, just a low profile red dot, and basically everything will fall into line. And as far as the light, if you notice over here, you know, basically there was a bar, basically a piece that would come across on this mount, and you can see where it's nice and shiny over there. I had to cut that piece out because that piece that would basically go from this side to that side diagonally, okay, would basically that was where my red dot wanted to be, okay. So that might be an issue. Basically, you either got to modify your light mount or get one that will match this gun style, okay? But those are my thoughts on the Beretta CX4 Storm. Great gun, very reliable. You know, it's worked out pretty good for me, and it's something you may want to consider. A lot of people these days are into, like, you know, when they think of a 9mm rifle, they'll jump straight to, like, say, an AR in 9mm. Keep in mind that a 9mm AR is nothing like a 5.56 AR. It's a completely different operating system. Okay, ARs are typically gas operated, where you'll have the gases as the bullet's leaving the barrel, the gases will come up, come back, and push your bolt back. You know, this is a blowback. You know, just like a pistol. Okay, that's not a gas operated system, and the same thing goes with your ARs. Okay, they are blowbacks, just like this gun, just like any pistol that you have. Okay, and what that means is that like, you know, I chose Beretta because I know Beretta makes pretty good handguns. Okay, you know, and they make lots of them, and basically you know, the pros at that. If you buy an AR in 9mm, regardless what company is making it, okay, that's probably not their specialty. Okay, it's a completely different system. So just something to consider, you know, if you're shopping around for a 9mm rifle. See you guys next time.